Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for all purchase, pricing, and availability questions regarding this watch. Today, we're discussing a lovely white gold enamel dial 100-piece limited edition launched in 2019 from Jaeger-LeCoultre. This is the Master Ultra Thin Perpetual Calendar Enamel. There's lots to love. First, it is compact. 39 millimeters in diameter. This is gray gold. We'll talk about that in a moment. It's 10.1 millimeters thick and from lug tip to lug tip 45.8 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, wears quite nicely. Now the strap is unbroken. It has not been softened up, so I'm pulling it very tight here. And it's creating the appearance that my wrist is smaller than it is. You can wear this comfortably on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference, maybe even 13 and a half. So this is viable for ladies who like a slightly larger men's style and for men who like a more compact watch. Down the barrel, you really get a good sense where the lugs are relative to my wrist. And you can see it will fit easily underneath a dress cuff. Strap is high grade. Large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale alligator leather. When scales are large, rectangular, and symmetrical, you know you're looking at a very high-grade cut of the animal, and the feel in the hand backs that up. This is substantial. We have a gloss cobalt blue. It's a little bit of a semi-gloss distressed grain. If you take a look right here, you can see that's good effect, and there's some bolstering to give it volume. It has a sheer cut side that's lacquered for refinement on the bottom. You can see calfskin. A brand new JLC factory strap made by Camille Fournet, the OEM supplier to the company. Pull tab spring bars. You can pop the strap off the case without tools. We have here a matching white gold buckle with the JLC logo on it. A little soft bevel on the flank. Now, taking a look at the case, I mentioned gray gold. Gray gold is the good stuff. It's 18 karat white gold that's the same color all the way through and never needs to be rhodium plated. It's what Greubel Forsey, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Rolex, Debitune, and all of the top watchmakers use. So this is what you want. If you scratch it, it's the same color all the way through, and it never needs to be replated. So taking a look, we have a little bit of a soft bevel on the lug profile that you can see quite well from this angle. It's actually more pronounced than on previous generations of JLC's soft bevel. This one has a nice concave profile to it. Then we have a fluid case form with tapered lugs. We have a bezel that's slightly stepped in from the case flank with a vertical lip, a conical slope, and then one more vertical lip abutting the sapphire JL logo on the crown. A little bit of vaulting or camber to the sapphire, a dial that is rose lathe cut. So we are looking at rose lathe and straight line machine engines or traditional reductive guilloche. Now this is a flinke enamel, which means there's guilloche on the base and then a translucent enamel is painted over it and fired sometimes up to 20 times at 800 degrees Celsius to create this lustrous glass-based sheen. This is a glass-based paint. That's what true enamel is. You're melting the glass flat and flush to create this lovely, shimmering, shiny, eternal finish. We have white gold hands and indices, and you can see that the hands, which are Dauphine style, they are half satinated for better contrast against the dial base. This is a spectacular rare craft. So the rare handcrafts, that's a sort of métier d'art division within JLC, responsible for this dial. The Perpetual calendar is the Kurt Klaus mechanically programmed sequential system developed by IWC watchmaker Kurt Klaus. Of course, JLC and IWC have been sister companies since the 80s, so they've shared base calibers, with JLC sending base calibers to IWC, and IWC authorizing JLC to build the Kurt Klaus Perpetual calendar. So now the way this works is there's a little trigger on the side. You press it once, and the day, the date, the month, even the year, the decade, and the moon phase advance in sequence. So if you fall 3 days behind, 1, 2, 3. It's that simple. You never need to look up the current phase of the moon, which can always be a challenge. There's a little window above the hands. That's your danger zone indicator. So you don't want to use the little corrector button when the window is shaded, and I'll show you what that means. So you can see as we enter the nighttime hours, that little window will become shaded so that you know this is the period during which you do not want to use the adjuster button for the calendar. It's okay to roll through the date change in advance during this period, but you do not want to use the corrector. There you go. Another thing, if you take a quick look, you can see that there is a twin-sided arm that will show you the moon phase in both the northern and southern hemispheres. Also, take a quick look. There is a center second, and it does feature a hacking function, so you can stop the seconds, set the watch to a reference time. You can see there is a spectacular sunray guilloche on the base, and then we have that continuing through the moonphase display in a pyramide or a hobnail design in each one of the registers, each of which features polished chapter rings. Turning it all over, we have a variant of caliber 868. This is the caliber 868A2, upgraded from past variants. It now has a 70-hour power reserve, unidirectional automatic winding with ceramic bearings. Those two features improve the winding efficiency. It's a 4 Hz beat rate. It pivots on 46 joules, and it has a free-sprung balance for precise adjustment and greater shock resistance. You could see a KIF shock protection spring, as JLC does not use Inca block. We have stripes across the bridge. We have fire-blued screws. We have a lovely sunburst on the bearing center. You can see bevels, which are mechanically but handsomely applied, with satination on the wheels and engine turning on the base plate. You can also see that locating pegs used to help locate some of the bridges on the base plate have been polished on their tops. All of this is surprisingly 50 meters water resistant, which is substantially more than the dress watch standard of 30. Now, don't take it swimming, but it's nice to know you have some margin for error. And this movement is designed for exacting performance. You can see this watch has been through the master 1,000 hours control, which means as a fully assembled watch, not as a bare movement like the COSC, but as a fully assembled watch, tested for 41.6 days for chronometry in 6 positions, water resistance, power reserve, winding efficiency, and overall durability. Introduced in the early 90s, Master 1000 Hours was one of the first in-house standards to go beyond the COSC. It is an assurance of the quality of the entire watch fully assembled and delivered, rather than COSC's testing of a bare movement pre-casing. So, if you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.